Welcome back to Press Review In Depth. As Israel calls off peace negotiations with Palestine following the reconciliation between Fatah and Hamas, let's learn more. The Independent features an article by Ben Linfield saying Middle East peace, Israel breaks off talks with Palestinians over Fatah deal with Hamas. Linfield writes Israel has suspended diplomatic contact with the Palestinians, putting the troubled Middle East peace process on ice in response to President Mahmoud Abbas's national unity deal on Wednesday with the militant Hamas movement. Netanyahu is quoted as saying instead of choosing peace, Mr. Abbas made an agreement with a murderous terror organisation that calls for the destruction of Israel. The article says at first glance the pact aims to end a situation of rival governments in the West Bank, where Fatah is dominant, and in Hamas-led Gaza. The schism ensued from Hamas's armed takeover of Gaza from Mr. Abbas's Fatah movement in 2007. The author adds Israeli media reports said the government also decided to open a public relations campaign to vilify Mr. Abbas, who advocates non-violent resistance and diplomacy to end occupation and establish an independent Palestinian state. He adds a senior administration official said the US would reassess its hundreds of millions of dollars in financial assistance to the PA if Hamas and the PLO form a government together. And the author concludes other analysts believe Mr. Abbas may be motivated by a desire to hold elections to renew his legitimacy after 9 years in office. Polling has been impossible because of the inter-Palestinian rift. Robert Tate writes for The Telegraph, Kerry reminded no peace deal can be struck without addressing Gaza. He writes it has taken a unity deal between two rival Palestinian factions who have fought each other with more vigour than they have shown towards Israel in recent years to bring down what may be the final act in peace talks that have seemed to be in their death throes for weeks. Tate adds Mr. Abbas's writ runs only to the 60% of the West Bank, populated by 2.5 million Palestinians and around 400,000 Israeli settlers, which the PA officially governs, the rest being under Israeli military control. He adds yet, rather than sinking the talks, the pact may have exposed a flaw at the heart of the process launched by Mr. Kerry amid such fanfare last July. He adds Israel's repugnance at the prospect of dealing with a government including Hamas stems from the group's responsibility for scores of suicide bombings that killed hundreds of Israelis during the Second Palestinian Intifada of 2000 to 2005. He concludes when all is said and done, the fallout from the pact may be premature. Fatah and Hamas have struck similar deals in the past that ultimately fell through. Arun Kundani writes in a Guardian article titled The Hypocrisy of Tony Blair's Middle East Vision, saying his flawed vision of the region has led him to support a number of despotic regimes. Kundani says Tony Blair's speech this week at Bloomberg in London reveals a growing support for authoritarian regimes in the Middle East. He says Blair envisions a struggle of two sides, one modern, pluralistic and supportive of religious freedom and open economies. On the other side are Islamists who reject the separation of religion from politics and, like communists and fascists before them, want to impose their particular interpretation on the rest of society. Kundani says revolutionary upheavals in the Middle East are ultimately about freedom from authoritarian political structures and the economic marginalisation generated by neoliberal economies, Blair's open economies. He adds while Blair's speech lays out recommendations for Tunisia, Libya, Yemen, Iran and Palestine, one country is not even mentioned by name, Saudi Arabia, surely the natural starting point for any genuine campaign against the use of religion for reactionary politics. He concludes once it became clear that democratic revolutions would not fit the mould of pro-Western liberalism and free market economics, neoconservatives decided that the old guard despots may once again be needed in order to stabilise the region. And for more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.